Challenge yourself to change lives with the Big Belt Buckle Challenge. They make a no-strings-attached charitable donation when participants complete one or all of the 6 athletic challenges. In doing so, they aim to build a worldwide community that transcends sport and encourages people to make a positive lifestyle change while helping those in need. For 2023, a difficult but doable set of challenges has been created by Jeff Privete himself. They have all been inspired by his personal experiences throughout 2022. The events can be done in any order, and with the exception of the Road Gravel Challenge, there is no time limit for completion of a given event. All you have to do is make it through. Completing all 6 will require an incredible amount of dedication, courage, and a willingness to embrace the journey, regardless of the outcome. Won't you join Jeff at thebigbeltbucklechallenge.org? This is the Big Belt Buckle Challenge. Hello and welcome to the Young Entrepreneur Syndicate. Jim Riley here with Rod Kuntz.
Top of the morning to you.
You crack me up.
Sorry.
I got all this pressure to make sure I have a good topic. And most of the time, I've been thinking about something for a week, but my memory lapse, I'll forget it. And then I get to this show, it's like, crap, what was I going to talk about today? What was my topic for you? So anyways, no pressure. You said you're looking forward to it. So I've got a topic.
All right. And it just came to you just like that. So
yeah, it did. Well,
divine inspiration.
I've been living it all morning so far. I received Alex Hormozi's book, 100 Million Leads, How to Get Strangers to Want to Buy Your Stuff. And I started digging into that book this morning. Thank you, Alex. Great job. I was on one of his conference calls. I guess he had 1 million people on or something like that. But the book is fantastic. And it's about getting sales leads and marketing and all those things that we've done in business. And what I started thinking about, Rod, and I'm going to do this. I know the competition's not listening. If you are, I'm shocked. I'm going to use his tactics in the campaign I'm running for our governor.
Awesome.
And I'm just laying it out there right now. It's like, because at the end of the day, business models prove over and over again to be, worth doing. The foundational elements, like what we always talk about, writing a business plan, having your values, wrapping your goals into that, mission statements, all those things wrap into what does your marketing look like. And in this case, leads that he's referring to, in my world, it's just going to be votes. I need votes. And that's real people that I need the votes from. And those are basically the same as leads. So the topic that I'd love to hear from you, now that I've disclosed what my idea is areas in your life where you've applied business principles where most people wouldn't, even like, while you think about it, even like the kids' chores around here, making lists with rewards. Hey, if you do this, this, and this, you do it every day, this is going to be your reward at the end of the week, basically like pay, and within that. So when I give my kids their chore list, I always write a quote on the bottom that aligns with my values or my mission. So I'm hoping to encourage them every day with that. So in a sense, it's kind of a business principle, but I'd love to hear if you have any thoughts on business principles that we use in other things.
Gosh, I think it's in everything. Now that you've thrown it out there, right? I mean, from running a household, budgeting, you mentioned it, chore lists, what needs to get done, prioritizing those lists of things that need to get done. They're not just business principles, they're life principles.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, maybe we should flip that around, Jim, and say, what are the life principles that are most important to business? Let's turn that on its head, because that's really what we're talking about here. This is how you do life, is how you should do business, and how you do business should be how you're doing your life as well, right?
My head was going there the second you started speaking. I'm like, we should just flip this around, because the reality is your life should be based on a set of principles that you carry with you into business. And I believe if you do that, it's just like the beginning of this book from Alex. He's talking about making sure he takes care of his friends that trusted in him, and his own values and systems personally are applying to business. So I think that's a really good point.
Well, I think again, everything we do is business, in that everything we do is planting a seed that is either going to come up as something that's going to bear fruit, or that something is going to come up and bear tares, right? Weeds. And everything we do in business and in life, in our families, in our personal relationships, in our casual relationships, is either going to bear good or bad fruit. And if we just look at it that way, it's like we should be on our best behavior all the time. And our best behavior should be a reflection of who we are, right? It shouldn't be something made up. It shouldn't be something we're doing to get something. It has to be integrated in our character, and it has to be practiced in all areas of our life. That almost sounds too philosophical. I don't know. Maybe I'm going down a wrong road here. But,
No, I'll give you a couple live examples of companies that most of us have heard of. First of all, Black Rifle Coffee Company. It's started by veterans, owned and operated by veterans, and everything they do is about veterans. I can't tell you a time that I've gone there and ordered a cup of coffee where they didn't ask me, "Are you a first responder or a veteran?" I mean, their personal values and principles bleed through into their business to a point where it's very transparent with them, all the way through their marketing, et cetera. They haven't missed the mark on that, and I think that's a really clear example. A second one, which was near and dear to my heart, was In-N-Out Burger. The owner of the company is a Christian and, devout follower of God and churchgoer, et cetera. And they put Bible verses on their hamburger wrappers and French fry trays and bags and T-shirts and all that stuff. And this goes back, I don't know, 30 plus years. They've always stood by their principles and their beliefs, and they carry that through into their business. And what's crazy about that is I've been around long enough with those guys to see how many times they've been attacked by the outside for having Bible verses on their materials. And they stood strong on their principles. They still have them to this day. And they're very, very successful. People always ask, how do they do it? Well, the fact is they stand by their principles, and they've never wavered from that. And there's a laundry list of companies that do the same in different ways. But I think that when you look at those two companies, you can really see the value in having your personal principles bleed through into your business.
Well, I'm going to take this to the next logical step then. And that is, in business, just like in our family lives, we should be looking to align ourselves with suppliers, with sales representatives, with industry leaders, with advertising agencies, with marketing things that also align with our principles, our core values. And if we do that, we're going to 10x the outcome. We are going to be able to leverage all of it because we're stronger together. And if you're misaligned in any one of those areas, it's going to slow you down. It's going to drag you down. It may not decimate you, but it's certainly not going to have you running on all cylinders. And ultimately, that's what we want. We want everything to be running. And I'm gonna take this. Business is personal, right? We've heard that, and it is. But I had my wife was talking about this just yesterday. She said, you don't talk enough about my success in network marketing and multi-level marketing, because it's a hard thing to break into and really reach a level of success. And she said, you don't talk enough about that. And I said, well, I probably should, because there are some great lessons. I learned some valuable lessons there. And that is, business is personal. You don't get more personal than network marketing, where every relationship you have has to be developed or set aside in such a way that you're not burning bridges, that you're not making people mad, that you're not, just push, right? You need to know when to stop. You need to know what you're doing and keep it in balance. And if there was any magic to my success in multi-level marketing, it was this. when I signed up somebody new, when I approached them with the business, if they weren't interested, they weren't interested. And I was fine with that. But I would always ask them, why wouldn't you be interested? I was looking for the objection because I always wanted to learn. But ultimately what I did, and my secret success was, anyone who signed up in my organization, I said, I'll make you this promise. I will work with you diligently until you make your money back.
Mm-hmm.
If you made your money back, you've got nothing on the line. You did not take a loss, right? I will work with you till you make your money back. And at that point, if you want to keep working with me, I will keep working with you. Mm. But if you don't want to, you can't tell anyone this didn't work.
Yeah, sure.
And I pushed and pushed and pushed. And so when I signed somebody up, I made sure that they had limited success. Big success was up to them, but I got their money back. I made sure that they got their initial investment back. And that was my commitment to them. I will work with you until you get it back. That way you can't say it didn't work. And it was that simple. It was that principle that pushed it through, because I wanted them to succeed. I didn't want them to lose money. I wanted them to invest in themselves and in the service at that point in time, and to see that it could work and just open their eyes. And that worked for me. And it's funny because it was duplicating itself. I didn't train my other people to do that. It wasn't a conscious thing, but it happened in my organization. My people did that for their people, and it grew bigger than I ever could have imagined, bigger than I deserve, actually. But that was it. That was it. And it was that simple core values. How you do anything is how you do everything. You've said it a million times. I've said it maybe 1,000. It's true. And that really is the core of the lesson today, I think. Everything is business.
So, let's take a little turn here, because I think there's some value in multi-level marketing discussions. There's a lot of companies out there. doTERRA always comes to mind because they've done a great job with their marketing. I know there's some bottles in my house. So what made you decide that that's something that you were going to offer people when they signed up under you? Was it a business tactic, or was it you just wanted to make sure that they felt like they had your all, or how'd you go down that road?
I think how I went down that road was I had to convince myself first. And I used to tell the story when I used to be the event, right? Mm-hmm. When there were 500 people in a room, I was the one with the microphone and that sort of thing. It was kind of fun. But I told the story. I actually had no upline help at all. I literally had information dropped off, and I have at that time in the house I had these great drawers right in front of the commode in the bathroom, and one of those was my drawer for reading materials, right? So I know, not the most glamorous, but this is how my career started. And I had this box of information that somebody at our church had dropped off. She was from Texas. She was from out of town. She said to the pastor, if you know anyone who might be interested in, an opportunity, pass this on. And so he passed it on to me. And I literally had this in my reading material pile for 3 months. Mm-hmm. I would pull it out and I would look at it and I would read it. And by the time it was done, nobody convinced me. Nobody talked me into anything. I just looked at it strictly from a business standpoint. And when I was done, I told my wife, I said, I emerged. I tell the story that I emerged from the bathroom one day and I told my wife, I said, this will work. This makes sense. I see everything lines up. Everything just makes sense. And because it made so much sense to me, and it had marinated so long, I couldn't see how anyone else couldn't see it also. Mm. And so I didn't want them to take 3 months like I did. And so that was my way of getting them to push past that 3 month, think about it. Well, yeah, I'm not ready for it yet. I said, I took that extra time. You don't need to. And here's my promise to you.
Hmm.
My promise is if you make the investment like I did, I'll work with you till you get your money back, and we'll make it happen. As soon as faster you want to do it, faster we get it done. So I think it was just, I was trying to shortcut it for other people so that they didn't waste that time that I did.
Mm-hmm.
That was my motivation. So it wasn't a conscious decision. It was just trying to look out for their best interests and have them not make the mistake I did, which was timing's everything.
Imagine that you were looking out for their best interests. What a concept, right? I mean,
right.
it's one of those things. It seems so simple, but yet people make it complex. You know, when you think about the world of selling, you've got one half of the planet just wants to sell, get them through the door, get the money in their pocket, and move that customer on, never to be seen again. And then the other half, like you, wants to make sure that they're helped along the way. They're happy with what they got. The transaction was good, value for value, all those things. It's just not that hard. I think we're always looking for some things to be harder than what they actually are.
Yeah. But, well, you know, and I'll say this too, personalities get in the way. And after watching the question and answer with Robert Greene, also, it's not personalities that get in the way. It's ego that gets in the way.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even if you want the best for a customer, if they're having a bad day and they're less than friendly, right? Sometimes it's easier not to give your best to those people who aren't offering their best. And that's the real ticket here, I think. If we're going to be better, if we're going to improve ourselves, improve our businesses, improve our relationships, we have to be better even when we don't feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
Even when the person doesn't deserve it, we still have to be on our game and give them the grace. Say,
sure.
You know, they had a bad day. Who knows? They may have just, you know, my brother recently just had to put 2 of his dogs down. I did that, you know, a month ago. That makes for a bad day. It makes for a bad week, you know, and that bleeds into everything you do. You're not going to be on your best at work. You're not going to be on your best, and you're not going to feel like socializing like you normally would. So how do we know what people are going through? And extending that little bit of extra grace is going to make you a better salesman, a better person, a better business person, a better employer, or a better employee. So maybe that's my message for the day. That's the secret sauce.
That is the secret sauce. I think we leave it there because these are life principles that you apply to business, and sometimes vice versa, as I suggested earlier in the show with what I was going to do. But yeah, you know, doing the right thing, having your values integrated into your work systems, important. So thanks for that.
You bet. Thank you. I always appreciate the topics.
All right. Well, look, if you enjoyed the show, we try to keep them brief. We don't want to overwhelm you with content and information, but if you want more, you can join our membership group at youngentrepreneurssyndicate.com. Rod was just referring to an event that we did with Robert Greene, David Meltzer, myself, and Rachel Sabota. And we'll be putting up some of those videos from Robert Greene. It's pretty incredible, some of the stories he told. So, Rod, thanks for bringing that up. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody.